She was married to him for 3 years. However, when she soared to success, she looked down on his laziness and worthlessness, eventually seeking a divorce. Little did she know, everything she had was all given by him. Ollie, this is the divorce agreement prepared by Miss Thompson. Go ahead and sign it. Within the opulent office of the Bell Group, Softcall, dressed in office attire, placed an A4 paper on the table. Seated opposite was a modest-looking, handsome man. Divorce? What do you mean? Ollie was slightly taken aback. Ollie, don't you understand yet? Your marriage with Miss Thompson has come to an end. You two are no longer in the same world. Your existence to Miss Thompson is nothing but an impediment, Softcall spoke bluntly. An impediment? Ollie furrowed his brow. So, that's how she sees me? When they got married, the Thompson family was undervalued and heavily indebted. It was he who helped the Thompson family through tough times. Yet, now that they had attained wealth and glory, Lil's T wanted to push him away. You can think of it that way. Softcall raised her chin and gestured to the magazine on the table. The exquisite cover featured a stunning beauty. Ollie, take a look at the headline on this magazine. In just 3 years, Miss Thompson's net worth has exceeded $1 billion. Not only has she created a miracle, but has also become the most sought-after female CEO in all of Rivertown Grove. With her beauty and capability, she's destined to rise to the top, revered by all. And you? You're just an ordinary person, absolutely unworthy of her. So, I hope you can have some self-awareness. Seeing Ollie silent, Softcall couldn't help but frown. She continued, I know you're not willing, but this is the truth. Perhaps you've helped Miss Thompson in the past, but in these 3 years, she has repaid everything she owed you. Now, it's your turn. Is marriage merely a transaction? Ollie took a deep breath, trying to suppress his emotions. If a divorce is necessary, let Lil's T come and talk to me in person. Miss Thompson is busy. Such a trivial matter doesn't need her involvement, Softcall replied. A trivial matter? Ollie paused, then chuckled self-deprecatingly. Is that so? Does she consider divorce a trivial matter? Not even a moment to meet me and say a few words? She really is out of reach now. Ollie, at this point, let's not waste words. Softcall pushed the agreement forward. As long as you sign it, not only will you have a house and a car, but you'll also receive $8 million as compensation. Know that this is money you won't earn in your lifetime. $8 million is indeed a lot, but unfortunately, I don't need it. If she wants a divorce, let her come in person. Otherwise, I won't sign, Ollie said coldly. Ollie, don't push your luck. Softcall slammed the table. Don't blame me for not warning you. With Miss Thompson's current power and status, divorcing you is simple, but she values past emotions and wants to leave you some dignity. You'd better not challenge her bottom line. Dignity? Ollie found it somewhat amusing. Not even willing to appear for a divorce, where's the dignity in that? Moreover, if she truly valued past emotions, would she utter such threatening words? I don't think we have anything else to discuss. Ollie was too lazy to say more and stood to leave. Oliver Hayes. Softcall was about to react when a stunning woman in a black dress, with a slender waist and alluring curves, walked in. Her skin was smooth, features exquisite, and figure graceful. Coupled with her cool demeanor, she seemed like a fairy walking out of a painting, especially stunning. You've finally shown up. Seeing the breathtaking woman in front of him, Ollie felt a mix of emotions. 3 years of mutual respect had finally reached this point. He didn't even know what he had done wrong. Apologies, I was held up. I'm late. Lil's T took her seat automatically, her expression as indifferent as ever. Miss Thompson is truly busy, so much so, she needs someone else to handle her divorce, Ollie remarked. Hearing this, Lil's T furrowed her brow slightly. But she didn't explain and continued, since you're here, let's get to the point. I won't bother with unnecessary words. Consider this my apology to you. We'll part ways amicably after the divorce. Afterward, the house and car will be yours, and I'll add another $8 million as a parting gift. How does that sound? Do you think emotions can be measured with money? Ollie asked abruptly. Too little? Fine. Whatever you request, as long as I can fulfill it, Lil's T said calmly. It seems you haven't understood what I meant. Well, let me rephrase. Are money and power really that important? Ollie was perplexed. Lil's T walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, gazing at the entire city of steel. She spoke with determination. At least, for me, they are. But with the money you make now, you have enough to live comfortably for a lifetime. Is it necessary? Ollie, that's the difference between you and me. You'll never understand what I truly think. Lil's T shook her head in disappointment. The differences between them extended beyond social status. It was a disparity in their spiritual levels. More importantly, she couldn't see any hope in him. Yeah, how would I know what you're thinking? Ollie smiled self-deprecatingly. I'll only cook for you when you're hungry, bring you clothes when you're cold, and carry you to the hospital when you're sick. Now, speaking of these things has no meaning. Lil's T's eyes flashed with complexity, soon replaced by firmness. That's true. Ollie nodded indifferently, then added, I heard you've been getting close to the Parker family's heir lately. Is it because of him? Lil's T was about to deny it, but eventually nodded. You can interpret it that way. Well, then I wish you both happiness. Ollie smiled faintly and directly signed the divorce agreement. No hesitation, just a sense of desolation. Ironically, today was their wedding anniversary. Choosing both marriage and divorce on the same day, how ludicrous. I don't need money or anything else, but you have to return that piece of jade to me. It's my mother's heirloom and also proof of being part of the Hayes family. Ollie pointed to the area around his collar. Okay. Lil's T nodded and handed over the jade pendant. From today onwards, we owe each other nothing. After hanging the jade pendant around his neck, Ollie stood up and left abruptly. In that moment, his gaze transformed from gentle to indifferent. Soft call, do you think I did the right thing? Lil's T's expression was mixed with complexity. Even though it was she who initiated the divorce at this point, she realized she didn't feel happy at all. Of course. Soft call nodded firmly. You have the right to pursue happiness. The current Ollie is simply not worthy of you. He will only hinder your progress. You are destined to stand at the top of Rivertown Grove. Lil's T remained silent, just gazing at the desolate figure before her, feeling an inexplicable pang in her heart. It was as if something important was slowly slipping away. Inside the elevator, Oliver Hayes stared at the jade pendant on his chest, his eyes filled with melancholy. Even though he had anticipated this outcome, ending the marriage still didn't come easy to him. He once thought happiness was simple 3 square meals, a tranquil life, and contentment. Now he realized ordinariness was a kind of sin. In this gentle haven for 3 years, it was time to wake up. Ring ring. While lost in thought, the phone suddenly rang. Upon answering, a familiar voice reached him. Mr. Hayes, I'm Daniel Miller from the Rivertown Grove Business Association. I heard today marks your wedding anniversary with Madam Thompson, and I've prepared a gift. When would you have time? Thank you, Mr. Miller, but there's no need for that anymore, Ollie replied nonchalantly. Daniel Miller was slightly taken aback, sensing something unusual. Mr. Miller, is there anything else? Ollie changed the subject. Cough. Well, there's another matter I need to trouble you with. Daniel Miller awkwardly coughed. I have a friend who's recently fallen ill with a peculiar disease. Many doctors have tried but couldn't cure it. I hope, Mr. Hayes, you can lend a hand. Mr. Miller, you know my policy. Of course. If there's no sincerity, I wouldn't dare to bother you. Frankly speaking, my friend's house happens to have a rare dragonheart herb that you need. As long as you help, this rare medicinal herb will be a reward, Dan M. stated. Is that true? Ollie's expression became serious. Absolutely. All right, if that's the case, I'll personally come over. Ollie promptly agreed. He had no interest in wealth or jewels, but rare medicinal herbs were what he sought after. Because he needed them to save a life. Thank you, Mr. Hayes. I'll send someone to pick you up right away. Dan M. breathed a sigh of relief. His demeanor, despite being one of the 3 titans of Rivertown Grove's Business Association, was cautious in Ollie's presence. Luck is on my side. Finding another rare medicinal herb means I'm just 5 short. Time should still be on my side, Ollie muttered to himself, the gloom from before slightly easing. Ding dong, the elevator doors opened. As Ollie stepped out of the company gate, he was met by 2 familiar figures. One was Lil's T's mother, Sophie Evans. The other, her younger brother, Nathan Thompson. Mom, Nate T, what brings you here? Ollie greeted them first. You and Lil's T have divorced? Sophie Evans got straight to the point. Yes, Ollie forced a smile. It has nothing to do with Lil's tea. It's my problem. Please don't blame her. His intention was an amicable parting, but after hearing this, Sophie Evans coldly snorted, "Of course, it's your problem. I know my daughter's character well. If it wasn't for something you did wrong, why would she divorce you?" Huh. Ollie was a little puzzled, not quite grasping the situation. Was this blaming the victim? Mom, in these 3 years, what have I done? You should know clearly. I swear, I haven't wronged Lil's tea in any way, Ollie stated. Humph. People hide things. Who knows what you've done? Anyway, my daughter divorcing you can't be wrong. Look at your character. Do you even deserve my daughter? Sophie Evans sneered. Mom, isn't that going too far? Ollie frowned slightly. 3 years ago, if he hadn't helped, would the Thompson family be where they were today? Too far? So what? Am I not stating facts? Sophie Evans crossed her arms. All right, Mom. Stop with the nonsense. At this moment, Nathan Thompson stepped forward. Oliver Hayes. I don't care about your divorce with my sister, but that money, you must hand it over. Money? What money? Ollie was puzzled. Don't act dumb. Don't think I don't know. My sister gave you $8 million as a parting gift. Nathan Thompson stated coldly. That's right. That's all my daughter's money. Why should you take it? Quickly hand it over. Sophie Evans reached out, demanding. I never asked for that $8 million, Ollie denied. Nonsense. Who would leave $8 million untouched? Do you think we're fools? Nathan Thompson didn't believe him. Oliver Hayes, if you know what's good for you, you better hand over the money. Otherwise, don't blame me for getting angry. Sophie Evans warned. If you don't believe me, you can call Lil's tea. Ollie couldn't be bothered to explain. What? Are you trying to scare us? I'm telling you, no matter who pleads today, you have to leave empty-handed, not a penny taken. Sophie Evans threatened. If that's what you want, let's search him ourselves. Nathan Thompson got impatient, immediately reaching into Ollie's pockets. Sophie Evans followed suit. Mom, does it have to come to this? Ollie furrowed his brow. He hadn't expected that right after signing the divorce papers, the Thompson family would act so aggressively. It was as if they were leaving him with no dignity. Who's your mom? Don't call me that. What's your status? Are you even worthy of us? Sophie Evans showed disdain. While speaking, she didn't stop searching. After a thorough check, they found nothing. This is weird. Could this guy really not have taken the money? Nathan Thompson was unwilling to accept it. At this moment, he caught sight of the jade pendant on Ollie's chest and snatched it off. Isn't this the antique jade pendant my sister wore? How did it end up with you? Did you steal it? Nathan Thompson questioned suspiciously. This is a family heirloom from the Hayes family. Give it back to me. Ollie's face darkened. He could forgo money, but his mother's memento had to be retrieved. A family heirloom? So, it's valuable. Nathan Thompson's eyes gleamed. You've been freeloading at my place for 3 years. Consider this pendant as interest. Let's go. Sophie Evans signaled, ready to leave with her son. Hold on. Ollie grabbed Nathan Thompson's wrist firmly. Give me back the pendant. Ouch! Let go, damn it. Nathan Thompson felt like his wrist was about to break. Give it back to me, Ollie emphasized each word. Screw you. I won't give it even if I throw it away. Unable to break free, Nathan Thompson aggressively hurled the pendant to the ground. Crash! A crisp sound echoed as the pendant shattered into pieces instantly. Seeing the scene, Ollie was struck as if by lightning, his face turning pale. This was his mother's cherished item and the sole remembrance of his entire life. Dare to lay a hand on me again? I'll make you regret it. Nathan Thompson shook his wrist, cursing. Crack, crack, crack. Ollie's fists clenched, making the bones crackle audibly. His icy eyes were now red with anger. Beast. Ollie couldn't contain himself and slapped Nathan Thompson hard across the face. Slap. Nathan Thompson spun twice in the air before crashing heavily onto the ground. He was too dizzy to even stand. You uncultured creature. Since your mom didn't teach you, I'll do it myself. Ollie seized Nathan Thompson by the hair, forcibly lifting him up. Then, blow after blow landed on Nathan Thompson's face, echoing with a resounding smack. Slap, 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 slap. Each hit left Nathan Thompson bruised, blood streaming from his mouth, a pitiful sight to behold. "Why you dare hit my son? I'll take you on," Sophie Evans yelled, about to intervene. "Get lost." Ollie glared back. His demonic, crimson eyes left Sophie Evans frozen in place, unable to move. "Get lost." Just that single word froze Sophie in her tracks. She never imagined that Ollie, usually mild-mannered and without any temper, could be this terrifying when provoked. His gaze seemed capable of devouring someone whole. "Murder! Help, someone!" Recovering, Sophie started yelling. Soon, a group of security guards from the elegant group rushed in. "Mrs. Zhang, what happened?" The head security guard, obviously recognizing Sophie, took a stance immediately. "Xiao Lu, quickly grab this guy for me. He dared to hit my son, and I want him to pay." Sophie's voice turned stern and resolute. "Goodness. Causing trouble at our company's doorstep? You've had it." The head guard gestured, and the group swiftly surrounded Ollie. They knew pleasing the president's mother was the perfect opportunity. A good performance might mean a promotion, marrying a wealthy beauty, and reaching the pinnacle of life. "What are you standing around for? Get him." As the head guard moved to act, a sharp command suddenly cut through. "Who dares?" Accompanying the voice, a woman in a silver cheongsam, voluptuous with striking beauty, followed by several bodyguards, briskly entered. The woman had flaming red lips, an enchanting demeanor, exuding allure with every move, like a bewitching fairy, captivating all present. So beautiful! The security guards were restless, assessing her from top to bottom. This woman before them was truly a rare beauty. "Mr. Hayes, are you all right?" The woman paid no heed to the intense gazes around her and walked straight to Ollie. Who are you?" Ollie squinted slightly, the fierceness in his eyes gradually subsiding. "Hello, I'm Ava Williams, introduced by Mr. Miller," the woman said with a smile. This statement immediately caused a stir among the security guards. "Ava Williams? Could it be the heiress of the Williams family? My goodness! How did this lady come here?" They exchanged glances, silently alarmed. The name Ava Williams was renowned, not just for her looks, wealth, and background, but also for her immense capabilities. At 22, she ascended to power, taking over the entire Williams family conglomerate. In a mere 5 years, she built a colossal business empire, becoming the revered queen of Rivertown Grove's business world. "It's you." Ollie nodded in realization. He had indeed heard of Ava Williams before, but hadn't expected to have any acquaintance with her. "Mr. Hayes, please rest in the car. I'll handle these pests." Ava Williams snapped her fingers. Her 4 suited bodyguards behind her brandished batons, advancing. Though they were just 4, their imposing aura sent the security guards retreating, too intimidated to approach. After all, the Williams family's bodyguards were hand-picked elites. "Mr. Hayes, please." Seeing no one dared to act, Ava Williams smiled and extended her hand, gesturing for Ollie to follow her onto the car. Without a word, Ollie picked up the shattered jade pendant fragments before following Ava Williams into the car and leaving. Not a soul dared to obstruct the process. "Hey, what kind of security are you?" "Letting them go." Sophie, finally realizing, burst into furious expletives. "Madam Thompson, that's from the Williams family. We absolutely can't afford to offend them." The head of the security team wore a pained expression. Ava Williams' identity? Even with 100 times their courage, they wouldn't dare make a rash move. "You're all useless. If you dare not offend the Williams family, would you dare offend my daughter then?" Sophie spoke maliciously. The security guards exchanged glances, none daring to speak up. "What's going on?" At this moment, Lil's T, having heard the commotion, walked out with another person. "Daughter, you're finally here. Look at your brother. Look at how he's been beaten." Sophie immediately began sobbing, her tears flowing as if she'd been the one assaulted. "How could this happen? Who did this?" Looking at Nate T's swollen face, Lil's T's expression turned cold instantly. "Who else could it be?" "It's Ollie, that ungrateful wretch." Sophie exaggeratedly said, "We just bumped into him at the door, and when your brother tried to pick up a piece of the jade pendant he dropped, he accused your brother of stealing and started a fight. My poor child, trying to do a good deed and got beaten so badly. It's truly a tragedy." As she spoke, Sof-E continued crying. Ollie? Lil's T furrowed her brows. He's always been very good-natured. How could he suddenly turn violent? Did you provoke him? What are you implying? You don't believe me and still side with that ungrateful wretch. Sof-E looked resentful. I just want to clarify things, Lil's T replied. After 3 years of marriage, she knew Ollie's character well. He was usually calm and tolerant, unlikely to resort to violence over a trivial matter. If your brother looks like this, isn't it clear enough? If you don't believe me, ask these security guards. They saw it all. Sof-E said, signaling to the guards. Miss Thompson, your mother is right. That kid went crazy and attacked us. If we hadn't arrived in time, your mother might have been in danger. The head of the security team immediately confirmed. Listen, are you still defending that ungrateful wretch? Sof-E continued, I've told you before, that guy with the surname Liu isn't a good person, cunning and deceitful. Just now, right after his divorce, he revealed his true colors. Not only did he hit your brother, but he's also fooling around outside. Such a man, truly heartless. Hearing this, Lil's T couldn't help but furrow her brows, visibly shaken. Could it really be Ollie's fault? Perhaps, overwhelmed by his recent divorce, he'd snapped and lashed out? If that were true, she had seriously misjudged him. Mom, you and Nate T go to the hospital first. I'll handle this. After a few seconds of contemplation, Lil's T finally made a decision. Qing Yao, you must stand up for your brother. Don't let that beast off the hook. Sof-E spoke with resentment. Don't worry, I'll handle it properly, Lil's T nodded. She then signaled 2 security guards to escort Sof-E and Nate T to the hospital. Sof-Call, what do you think of this matter? Lil's T rubbed her temples, feeling a headache coming on. Miss Thompson, it's clear enough. Ollie did hit someone, and the security guards witnessed it. There's no doubt about that, Sof-Call stated. But my mother's words. Lil's T hesitated. She was well aware of her mother's sharp tongue and her brother's aggressive nature. Regardless, hitting someone is wrong. Sof-Call asserted firmly. Even if there's a misunderstanding, couldn't they have sat down and talked it out? Moreover, Nate T is your own brother. He didn't consider your feelings when he beat someone up. That alone proves his low character. Lil's T furrowed her brow, feeling more doubtful than ever. Yes, her mother and brother might be a bit too aggressive, but resorting to violence was inexcusable. And the extent of it. She had previously felt a bit guilty, but now, considering her recent divorce, she believed it was a wise decision. Miss Thompson, this matter shouldn't be left alone. It must be pursued to the end. If he dares to hit someone, he must pay the price. Sof-Call's voice turned cold. Already frustrated, Lil's T felt her temper rising at these words. She immediately took out her phone and dialed Ollie's number. At this moment, inside a moving silver Bentley, Ollie glanced at the incoming call on his phone, furrowing his brow slightly. But eventually, he chose to answer. Ollie, I need a reasonable explanation. Lil's T started with an authoritative tone. An explanation for what? I'm asking you, did you hit my brother just now? It was me. But, before Ollie could finish, Lil's T forcefully interrupted, I knew it. I never thought you'd be this kind of person. Just because we're divorced, you're seeking revenge on my family. This statement left Ollie stunned. He hadn't expected such a forceful confrontation right from the start. Furthermore, she didn't even ask for the reason. 3 years of marriage, and there wasn't even a shred of trust? Even strangers wouldn't act like this, right? Lil's T, do you think so poorly of me? You only know that I hit someone. Have you ever considered why? Ollie's voice was heavy. No matter the reason, it's not an excuse for hitting someone. Lil's T was resolute. At these words, Ollie smiled bitterly. He felt utterly disappointed. Right or wrong didn't seem to matter at this moment. She clearly valued her brother more. Lil's T, for the sake of our past marriage, I'll give you a chance to remedy this. Go to the hospital right away and apologize to Nate T. I'll consider this matter forgotten. Otherwise what? Will you report me to the police? Or get someone to deal with me? Ollie retorted. Ollie, you're completely disregarding our past relationship. Must you make it so confrontational? Lil's T reprimanded. Relationship? Haha. Is there even a relationship left between us? Anyway, I'm the one who hit him. Whatever revenge you want, Ms. Thompson, it's up to you. Lil's tea was about to explode, but Ollie hung up abruptly. She was so angry she almost threw her phone. Her emotional management had always been good, especially in her current position. But right now, she felt a bit out of control. Ms. Thompson, that guy Ollie really doesn't know what's good for him. Should I find someone to teach him a lesson? Soft Call suggested. No need. Whatever I owed him before, consider it settled. Lil's tea took a deep breath, forcibly suppressing her anger. But Soft Call wanted to say more, but was stopped by Lil's tea's raised hand. Enough for now. What's most important at the moment is the Williams family's charity gala. The charity gala? Is it related to our partnership? Exactly. I just received news that the Williams family has included our elegant group in the preliminary list. If we perform well, we might become the Williams family's new partners. That's great. I'll prepare right away. On the other side, after hanging up the phone, Ollie arrived at Rivertown Grove's first hospital in Avi W.'s car. Upon arrival, they quickly made their way to a VIP ward. Lying on the hospital bed was a thin, white-haired elderly man. His face was bluish, lips purple. He looked frail, with weak breaths, seemingly on the verge of death. Several doctors stood around him, their solemn faces indicating the patient's critical condition. Sister, you're finally back. These doctors are all useless. They haven't done anything. At this moment, a pretty girl with a ponytail came forward. She was Olivia Williams, the second miss of the Williams family. Ms. Williams, we've done everything we can: gastric lavage, dialysis, flushing, along with various medications. But we're only treating symptoms, not addressing the root cause, a doctor said helplessly. Since you're unable, then change the personnel. Let this Mr. Hayes handle it, Avi W. said coldly. Mr. Hayes? Everyone was stunned, glancing at Ollie, looking somewhat odd. He looked too young and didn't seem like a capable doctor. Sis, are you serious? He's Mr. Hayes? Olivia Williams was bewildered. He looks almost the same age as me. Can he really do it? Don't judge by appearances. Since Mr. Miller recommended him, he should be capable, Avi W. said. To be honest, she wasn't certain either, but if Wang Baisho recommended him so strongly, there must be something exceptional about him. Could Mr. Miller have been deceived? Olivia Williams still had her doubts. Hey, do you really know medicine? A bit, Ollie said. Just a bit. Olivia Williams sneered. Do you know that the doctors allowed here are renowned professors in Rivertown Grove? Even they're helpless. You, a half-baked doctor, dare to show up. Liv W. Show some respect. Avi W. reprimanded. Sis, this guy seems unreliable. I'm worried. What if he makes Grandpa worse? Olivia Williams said. What nonsense are you saying? Avi W. frowned slightly. I just don't believe it. Unless you prove it to me. Olivia Williams held her head high. How would you prove it? Ollie said casually. Would you like me to tell you? What? Scared now? If you're not up to it, then please leave. Don't waste our time, Olivia Williams sneered. Stick out your tongue, Ollie motioned with his hand. Olivia Williams obediently stuck out her tongue. After examining, Ollie bluntly stated, you have excessive liver heat, hormonal imbalance causing irregular menstrual cycles, frequent headaches. Also, you've eaten something bad today, leading to gastrointestinal upset. You've had at least 6 bowel movements in half a day. Oh, and you have hemorrhoids. As soon as these words were spoken, Olivia Williams' expression instantly stiffened. How did you know? Liv W. widened her eyes, her face blushing with embarrassment. Apart from feeling awkward, she was more astonished. She never expected the other person to be so accurate in their observations. Headaches, menstrual irregularities, and even noticing her upset stomach. Was this person really that astute? Could it be a lucky guess? Traditional Chinese medicine emphasizes observation, listening, questioning, and pulse diagnosis. Just the observation part is enough to reveal hidden details, Ollie replied calmly. Liv W., how about it? Do you believe him now? Avi W. smiled slightly. Simultaneously relieved, she realized that the other person indeed had genuine abilities. Humph. He's just a blind cat stumbling upon a dead rat. There's nothing extraordinary about it. Liv W. still refused to admit defeat. Mr. Hayes, she's just stubborn. Don't bother with her, Avi W. apologized. No problem, let's focus on the treatment. Ollie wasn't bothered. Approaching the old man's bed, after a thorough examination, Ollie had his own considerations. It was evident that the old man had been poisoned, and not with an ordinary toxin. Fortunately, they caught it in time, but another couple of days and it would have been fatal. Miss Williams, please fetch me a set of silver needles, Ollie requested. Sure. Avi W. gestured, and a bodyguard swiftly brought back a set of silver needles within 5 minutes. Thank you. Ollie nodded and then unfastened the old man's clothing. First, he extended his index and middle fingers, tapping lightly on the old man's abdomen to confirm. Then, taking out the silver needles, he started piercing them in precise, rapid motions. His force was gentle yet incredibly accurate and fast. It seemed as delicate as a dragonfly skimming water, leaving no perception of pain to an ordinary person. Such exquisite acupuncture. Seeing the scene, Avi W. was amazed. Though not knowledgeable in medicine, she knew a few renowned Chinese physicians. In her view, even those venerable scholars weren't as skilled and precise in acupuncture as Ollie appeared to be. This required not just talent, but years of dedicated practice. For a moment, she couldn't help but feel curious about Ollie's identity. After inserting the 16 needles, Ollie couldn't help but heave a sigh. Though it had been a while since he used silver needles, performing it was still within his grasp. Hey, is it over just like that? Why isn't there any change? Liv W. looked perplexed. Your grandfather has a source of poison in his body. It's not easy to eradicate. It will show noticeable effects in 2 hours. However, during this time, the silver needles must not be removed, or else it will have dire consequences. Ollie warned. TSK? Who knows if what you said is true? Liv W. retorted. Liv W. Avi W. glared. I'll be back in a minute. You guys stay here. After giving instructions, Ollie left the ward. But as soon as he left, a group of doctors in white coats hurriedly entered. These were the hospital's elite medical staff. Among them was a middle-aged, balding man leading the group. Hey, who are you people? Liv W. crossed her arms. I am Daniel Evans, the hospital's administrative director and a part-time professor at the medical school. I have been specially ordered by the hospital director to treat Mr. Williams, the balding middle-aged man introduced himself. Oh, you are the widely acclaimed Professor Evans, known as Rivertown Grove's top medical expert. Liv W. exclaimed in surprise. I wouldn't say the top, but top 3 is not a problem, Professor Evans said proudly. Professor Evans, you arrived just in time. Please, quickly check on my grandfather's condition. Liv W. stepped aside. Compared to a young fellow like Oliver Hayes, she naturally placed more trust in the hospital's expert professors. All right, let me have a look. Professor Evans nodded and walked to the bedside. But as soon as he furrowed his brow. Who inserted these silver needles? This is absurd. Saying that, he moved to remove the needles. Hold on. Avi W. immediately reached out to stop him. What's wrong? Professor Evans was displeased. Professor Evans, I have already arranged for treatment. The doctor just now said my grandfather is poisoned, and the silver needles can't be removed for now, or else it might be dangerous, Avi W. explained. Nonsense. Professor Evans huffed. If a few silver needles could cure and detoxify, what use would Western medicine have? Exactly. Liv W. chimed in. Miss, Oliver Hayes is barely in his 20s. What could he possibly do? You don't actually believe him, do you? How do you explain him figuring out your headache and upset stomach earlier? Avi W. countered. He was just making random guesses. Liv W. persisted. Miss Williams, our hospital's best doctors are here. I don't know who you just brought, but in my opinion, he's just playing tricks, Professor Evans declared confidently. But how can a rural doctor compare to our expert medical team? He added, visibly annoyed. I understand you're concerned about Mr. Williams' safety, but please don't make hasty decisions. Otherwise, it might make things worse. Professor Evans said firmly. Exactly. With Professor Evans here, we guarantee Mr. Williams' safety. The doctors behind him echoed. Seeing their confidence, Avi W. was somewhat swayed. However, she persisted. Let's wait until Mr. Hayes returns. Sis, why wait? He probably ran away by now. Liv W. said. Miss Williams, I'm busy. I don't have time to waste here. I'll leave it here. If something happens to Mr. Williams, I take full responsibility, Professor Evans declared. With that said, Professor Evans removed all the silver needles. However, as soon as the needles were removed, an unexpected turn of events occurred. The once peaceful Mr. Williams began convulsing violently. His face quickly turned dark, and blood started oozing from his mouth and nose. The machines beside the hospital bed emitted piercing alarm sounds. How could this happen? Professor Evans was startled, clearly not expecting it to be this severe. Professor Evans, what's going on? Avi W. frowned. Strange, he was fine just now. Professor Evans appeared somewhat unsettled. Director, the patient's condition is critical. We need to take immediate action, a doctor exclaimed urgently. Quick! Arrange for emergency treatment. Professor Evans didn't dare to delay and immediately instructed various emergency procedures. But after all the efforts, instead of improvement, Mr. Williams' vital signs began to decline uncontrollably. Professor Evans was now a bit flustered, wiping the sweat off his forehead. Miss Williams. Mr. Williams, it seems seems to be dying. What? Upon hearing this, the two sisters were dumbstruck. You useless piece of... Avi W. exploded, grabbing Professor Evans by the collar. You were asked to remove it, and now something has happened, and this is the result you give me. Not my fault, I tried my best. Professor Evans shook his head repeatedly, trying to shirk responsibility. Oh, it must be that country doctor's fault. He recklessly needled Mr. Williams. Smack. Avi W. landed a resounding slap on Professor Evans' face. You scum! Making a mistake and blaming someone else? I warn you, if anything happens to my grandpa, I'll tear your skin off. Her words sent Professor Evans into a momentary panic. With the power of the Williams family, making someone disappear was effortless. What happened? At that moment, Ollie walked in again. However, upon seeing Mr. Williams with a blackened face and bleeding from his nose and mouth, Ollie frowned deeply. We said no removal of the needles, didn't we? Why didn't you listen? Ollie sounded displeased. Mr. Hayes, just now. Before Avi W. could explain, Professor Evans suddenly stepped forward, grabbing Ollie's collar. So it was your darn needle treatment? Do you know that your reckless treatment has put Mr. Williams in mortal danger? I'll make sure you pay for this. Finding a scapegoat wasn't easy, and he wasn't about to let this one slip away. It seems you removed the needles? Ollie raised an eyebrow. So what if I did? Nothing. I'm just curious how someone like you, lacking both skill and accountability and shamelessly passing blame, managed to become a doctor. You, shut it. Avi W. shoved Professor Evans aside, pulling Ollie to the bedside. Mr. Hayes, the situation is dire. Please help. Miss Williams. This guy is just a fraud. He doesn't have any real skills. Don't be deceived by him. Professor Evans seethed. If he can't, then you? Avi W. gave a cold stare. Professor Evans was suddenly at a loss for words. If he had a solution, he would have treated Mr. Williams long ago. Why wait until now? Just as Ollie was about to act, Professor Evans unexpectedly added, Kid, don't blame me if I didn't warn you. Mr. Williams has a noble status. If you mess up his treatment, I doubt you'll survive. If that's the case, then I won't treat him. You figure it out yourself. Ollie didn't want to waste time and turned to leave. You scum! Who asked you to speak? Avi W. exploded, raising her hand for another slap, striking Professor Evans hard enough to make him stagger, nearly falling. Seeing Professor Evans' swollen cheek, Ollie showed no expression, but he felt a sense of satisfaction. Mr. Hayes, please help. The Williams family will be eternally grateful. Avi W.'s tone changed again. It's a bit tricky now. The poison has been agitated, becoming more aggressive. Acupuncture alone won't be decisive. I need something to draw out the poison, Ollie said. Mr. Hayes, please name it. Whatever you need, I'll arrange it. Avi W. replied. I need 3 ounces of green caterpillars, 3 ounces of spiders, 3 ounces of cockroaches, then fry them until fragrant and seal them in a jar. What? What are you going to do with those? Isn't it disgusting? Liv W. felt her scalp tingling. No time for nonsense. Go collect them. Avi W. gave Liv W. a stern look. Helplessly, Liv W. went with her bodyguards to gather the ingredients. In less than half an hour, a jar of golden brown fried insects was delivered to the room. Miss Williams, after I finish the treatment, place the jar near your grandpa's nose and mouth, Ollie instructed. Okay. Avi W. nodded. Let's begin. Ollie took out a silver needle, took a deep breath, then, channeling his inner energy, plunged the needle into Mr. Williams' lower abdomen. The first needle, Guan Yuan. As Ollie flicked his finger, the needle began spinning wildly. Invisible streams of silver qi swiftly flowed into Mr. Williams' body. The second needle, qi hai. Without hesitation, Ollie struck again. The third needle, shin ke. The fourth needle, zhongwan. The fifth needle, ju ke. Ollie consecutively pierced 3 more times, fast and accurate. Notably, his silver needles moved from the lower abdomen, inching upward. And with each needle, Mr. Williams' skin twitched as if something was inside. Playing tricks. Professor Evans scoffed disdainfully. What use are these silver needles? These are just inferior methods that don't hold up. They can't compete. Exactly. What's so great about Chinese medicine? How can it compare to our Western medicine? Let's see him make a fool of himself. Several doctors in the room began whispering. As Western doctors, they obviously looked down on Chinese medical methods. When Ollie placed the final needle, he was drenched in sweat. What he had just performed wasn't ordinary acupuncture, it was the long-lost divine needle technique. The divine needle had the power to revive the dying, but it required internal energy as its foundation. It was immensely draining, and he never used it unless absolutely necessary. Miss Williams, open the jar, Ollie reminded. Avi W. wasted no time, quickly opening the insect jar. Instantly, an exotic fragrance filled the room. Most of it was drawn into Mr. Williams' body. It's just a charade. Professor Evans sneered. Do you think sticking a few needles and using an insect jar can resurrect someone? You can't do it, but that doesn't mean others can't. Ollie calmly retorted. If you're so good, I'll eat this jar of insects right now. Professor Evans boasted. As his words fell, from Mr. Williams' mouth, which had been unconscious all along, a black millipede suddenly started wriggling out. After a moment's hesitation, it finally fell into the jar and started ferociously devouring the other insects. A centipede? How could there be a centipede inside Mr. Williams? Oh my God! How could there be a centipede inside Mr. Williams? Ugh! Everyone was taken aback, especially Liv W., who vomited on the spot. It was too horrifying. Who could have imagined that there'd be a centipede crawling out of a person's mouth? Cough, cough. At this moment, with a bout of coughing, Mr. Williams, who had been comatose, finally opened his eyes. Awake? Seeing Mr. Williams suddenly waking up, everyone was once again shocked. Especially when they observed the various indicators on the instruments returning to normal, they were all left speechless. No one expected that the mysterious illness, which even their entire team of experts couldn't handle, would be cured by a young man. It's great. Grandpa is finally fine. Olivia Williams, seeing her grandfather's complexion returning to normal, couldn't help but cry with joy. Avi W., who had been holding her breath, finally relaxed. Mr. Hayes, I can't thank you enough. From now on, you're an honored guest in the Williams family. Avi W. bowed deeply, expressing her gratitude. Miss Williams, no need to be so polite. It was just a small effort. Ollie smiled modestly. Previously humble words sounded particularly harsh to Professor Evans. They had struggled to cure the disease, and now someone was saying it was just a small effort? Hey, that guy? What's with the centipede? How could it be in my grandpa's body? Olivia Williams suddenly asked. It's not an ordinary centipede, it's a goo worm. Ollie said, then looked at Mr. Williams and asked, did the old man recently go out of town? And did he eat something he shouldn't? Yes, a few days ago, I attended a banquet in the provincial capital and had some drinks. Mr. Williams nodded. If I'm not mistaken, you should have been cursed. Cursed? Mr. Williams was slightly surprised. Others were also dumbfounded by this seemingly mystical explanation. If I'm not mistaken, you have been cursed. Ollie said, shocking everyone. Curse? Others were still digesting this information. You don't understand, but please don't show your ignorance. Ollie retorted to Professor Evans, who was about to argue. Thank you, Mr. Hayes. I will investigate this matter thoroughly. Avi W. expressed her gratitude. Mr. Williams' goo has been removed, but the remaining poison needs to be cleared. Follow this prescription, and he should be fine after 3 to 5 days. Ollie handed over a prescription. Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Avi W. quickly took it. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. I'll see you off. Avi W. gestured to escort him out. Sister, how do we deal with this jar of insects? Olivia Williams suddenly asked. Since Professor Evans said he wanted to eat these insects, let's fulfill his wish. You guys, watch him eat. No one is allowed to leave until he finishes. Avi W. said coldly. What? This statement immediately made Professor Evans turn pale. In another hospital room. Mom, Oliver Hayes dared to hit me. You must help me. Nate T lay on the hospital bed, crying out constantly. He had several layers of thick gauze wrapped around his head, leaving only his eyes, mouth, and nose exposed. Son, don't worry. Mom will definitely stand up for you. Soph E. comforted him. Madam Thompson, Oliver dared to attack you guys? At this moment, a handsome man in a suit and tie, Ethan Parker, spoke up. He was the second young master of the Parker family and a loyal pursuer of Lil's tea. Park, did you not see? That guy went crazy today, caught my son, and ruthlessly beat him. I couldn't stop him. Soph E. looked resentful. Oh, this person is so bold. Ethan Parker's eyes lit up with malice. He had never liked Ollie, an unworthy and powerless per guy. Why should he be able to marry a beautiful CO? This is perfect. I promise he won't be able to get out of bed again. Nate T shouted. No problem. I guarantee he'll have to lie in bed for the rest of his life. Ethan Parker smirked. Nate T, how's your injury? At this moment, Lil's T, wearing a black dress, walked into the ward. Ethan Parker's eyes glowed at the sight of her sexy figure and stunning beauty. Sister, you finally came? Look at what he did to me. I was beaten into this appearance. Sister, you won't let him go, will you? Nate T sat up and pointed to his face covered in bandages. I've heard about what happened. Oliver has already apologized to me over the phone, so let's just let it go. Just let it go? Nate T's voice suddenly increased, sister. Are you kidding me? I was beaten into a pig's head, and just an apology is enough? What do you take me for? What do you want? I want him to kneel on the ground and apologize by kowtowing. He is still your brother-in-law. Don't escalate the situation. Nonsense, brother-in-law. Don't think I don't know. You two are already divorced. Regardless, we need to consider the relationship. Moreover, you might also have some fault in this matter. Sis, why are you siding with an outsider? What did I do wrong? I just broke his worthless jade pendant. What's the big deal? Wait, what did you just say? Jade pendant. Lil's T furrowed her brow. It's the one you used to wear. He claimed it's his family heirloom, but I think it's just garbage. Nate T sneered. You broke that jade pendant? Lil's T cautiously asked. That's right. That kid was too arrogant. I took a liking to that jade pendant, but he dared not to give it to me. So, I smashed it on the spot. Nate T said casually. You deserve to be hit. Getting the answer, Lil's T was furious. She finally understood why Ollie had resorted to violence. So, it turned out her brother couldn't forcefully take something and ended up smashing the jade pendant. Others might not know, but she was well aware of what that pendant meant to Ollie. It wasn't just a family heirloom. It was the only relic left by his mother, a belief, a sanctuary. During the divorce, Ollie could have asked for anything, but was unwilling to part with that pendant. From this, the significance of the jade pendant in his heart was evident. Sis, it's just a worthless jade pendant. Why scold me? Nate T seemed a bit aggrieved. That's right. Just a worthless jade pendant. Does it matter more than your brother's life? Soph E was quite displeased. I'll settle this with you later. Lil's T couldn't be bothered to explain further. After leaving those words behind, she left in a hurry. Her brother was unreasonable, her mother twisted facts and maliciously slandered, and she herself had spoken rashly before. Now thinking about it, she couldn't help but feel regret. Yeah, If it weren't for her extreme anger, would Ollie, with his personality, have easily resorted to violence? It was her fault for wrongly accusing him. At this moment, inside a moving silver Bentley. Mr. Hayes, thanks for saving my life. Here's the Williams family's green dragon card, and please smile. Avi W. pulled out a black card with a gold border and handed it over. With this card, from now on, you will be the VIP of the Williams family, and you can enjoy the best service for all the properties under the Williams family. Miss Williams, that's not what I need. Ollie shook his head. Mr. Hayes, don't worry. This is just a little bit of my personal token of appreciation. As for the dragon heartgrass that President Wang mentioned, I will send someone to the mansion tomorrow. Avi W. laughed. Miss Williams sure is quick, so thanks a lot. Ollie smiles slightly and smoothly takes the green dragon card. Anything that can get Avi W. to give it away obviously can't be bad. Crunch dash. While the two were talking, the driver suddenly made a sharp break and pulled over. Boss, I'm sorry. They made me do it. The driver quickly ran out of sight after Mo dropped a comment. At the same time, two black commercial vehicles with sets of license plates suddenly whistled. One in front of the other, blocking the Bentley. Following the car door opening, a dozen or so masked, club-wielding thugs rushed down aggressively. At the head of them was a bald man with a full body of flesh. Miss Williams, my boss wants to see you. Come with us. The bald man lifted his knife and slammed his foot on the hood of the car. You guys have a lot of guts. How dare you hijack my car? Instead of panicking, Avi W. showed a powerful aura. If your bodyguards were there, we naturally wouldn't dare, but unfortunately, they are all in the hospital protecting Mr. Williams. You are left with a little white boy by your side, so how could we miss such an opportunity? The bald man grinned. I can't tell. You guys have some brains. You know to buy my driver, but I'm curious, who is your boss? Avi W. said lightly. Wait until we get to the place. You'll naturally know. Get off. The bald man urged. Let me out of the car. You're not qualified. Avi W. didn't give a damn. Since you don't know how to behave, don't blame us for not being polite. The bald man beckoned for a sledgehammer. Just as he was about to smash the glass, Ollie suddenly opened the car door and stepped out. Miss Williams, the little white boy you're raising has no balls. He pissed his pants before I even got started. You even like men like that? The bald man laughed teasingly. Avi W. frowned and didn't say anything, just reached into her bag. You have 5 seconds to disappear now. Ollie said coldly. Kid, do you know what you're talking about? Daring to play hero to save a girl in front of us, I think you're tired of living. The words have just been spoken. There was a crunching sound as Ollie slapped the bald man across the face. That tremendous force hit its face crookedly. The whole thing stumbled and stood unsteadily. Grass. How dare this guy make a move? Kill him. When the rest of them saw this, they immediately swarmed up without saying a word. Ollie was not the least bit afraid and moved his feet to meet him head-on. His body was like a ghost, weaving in and out of the crowd. Every person that comes near is a slap in the face. Snap. With a crunching sound. In just a few short breaths, a group of big and thick thugs were smacked to the ground by Ollie one after another. One slap, no more, no less. The whole process is as simple and dry as chopping and slicing. The bald man, who had just come back to his senses, was directly stunned. He never dreamed that the little white boy in front of him would be so fierce. A dozen or so blood-licking brothers hadn't even touched a single hair on the other side. Kind of. Avi W. teased, her beautiful eyes coloring. The small pistol hidden in the bag was put back in the same way. She initially thought Ollie was going to suffer, but she didn't realize her opponent was actually this good. Easily beat down a group of strong men, this force value, than her several Soldier King bodyguards, only higher not lower. He can heal and fight, and he's so handsome. What a superb little man. Stop, stop. Seeing Ollie approaching step by step, the bald man panicked. I'm warning you not to mess around. If you dare to touch a single hair of my... Before it could finish its sentence, Ollie punched it in the stomach and fell straight to his knees in pain, spitting out his overnight meal. Miss Williams, over to you. After collecting the bald man, Ollie automatically stepped aside. Thanks. Avi W. nodded and stepped forward, looking condescendingly at the bald man. Say, who's your boss? The bald man stammered a bit. No. Avi W. laughed, picked up a knife, put it on the bald man's neck, and said faintly, "Then I'll chop you up with one knife." As the words fell, he raised his sword to slash. Don't. I say. It's Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson from Daffabet Group. The bald man decisively conceded. With his little life on the line, he couldn't care less about loyalty at this point. Sure enough, it's him. Avi W. coldly smiled. You go back and tell Matthew Johnson that I'll keep this in mind today, and when I have time one day, I'll pay a visit in person. Now, take your men and get the hell out of here. Yes. The bald man was scared shitless and hurriedly fled with a group of minions. Miss Williams, first your grandfather was bewitched and now you've been ambushed, and the two are intertwined, so it seems this Matthew Johnson is no ordinary man. Ollie reminded. Matthew Johnson, the mad dog, is not to be feared, but he still has backers behind him, so in order to avoid spooking the snakes, let him bounce around for a few days first, and when the time is ripe, I'll take them out in one fell swoop. Avi W. narrowed his eyes. Either you don't make a move, or when you do, you have to make a move. It's good that you have that in mind. Ollie nodded. He was naturally not interested in meddling in these disputes. Mr. Hayes, speaking of which, you are really a precious person to me, the Williams family. First saving my grandfather, then saving me. I really don't know how to thank you. Avi W.'s beautiful eyes glowed. A show of hands is nothing. No, such a big favor must be returned. Speaking of which, Avi W. suddenly smiled flirtatiously, as a sign of sincerity. Why don't I give my body to you? Huh? Ollie blanched. He didn't expect that Avi W. would actually come up with such a comment. The beauty of the person in front of me is different from the coolness of Lil's tea. Rather, it's the kind of beauty that comes with flavor and charm. Especially when she smiled, she was a seductive person. Simply put, it's a natural vixen that not many men can resist. Giggle giggle. Just kidding, look how scared you are. Avi W. laughed and shook, and the two snowy whites on her chest kept vibrating with great impact. Ollie's eyes twitched at the corners of his eyes, and he hastily averted his gaze. This woman is so seductive. The more you look at her, the more you get. Mr. Hayes, then again, I guess I'll have to bother you again. Avi W.'s smile slowly tightened. Yes. Ollie was stunned. As you know, all those bodyguards of mine are on guard at the hospital. I don't have much available around me, and now that I'm being watched, it's hard to keep my life safe, so I'm hoping that, Mr. Hayes, you'll be able to protect me for 24 hours. Avi W. requested. Protection? Ollie raised an eyebrow. Miss Williams, wouldn't it be better if you found a safe place to get away? Mr. Hayes is unaware that the Williams family has another important charity gala tonight, and naturally, as the organizer, I can't miss it. If someone makes trouble in the middle of the day, I'm a weak woman who can't stand up to them. For the sake of the dragon heart grass, you don't want anything to happen to me, do you? Avi W. blinks her pretty eyes and puts on a pitying face. This. Ollie hesitated for 2 seconds, but finally nodded okay. Although it was a bit troublesome, he could only agree for the sake of the dragon heartgrass. Because he didn't want anything to change. Thanks, Mr. Hayes. Avi W. hooked the corners of her mouth into a meaningful smile. Protection is fake. She's mostly interested in people. Phoenix House at dusk. A renowned Chinese hotel in Rivertown Grove, Phoenix House covers an extremely large area. At first glance, it looks like a royal residence. Surrounded by high walls, the buildings inside were carved and richly ornamented. What with all the gardens, bamboo forests, wineries, and artificial lakes. Everywhere reveals a sense of class and sophistication. At this moment, the entrance to Phoenix House. A black Mercedes slowed to a stop. The car door opened, and a stunning woman in a long black dress with outstanding poise was the first to step out. The woman's skin was fair, her legs were long and slender, and her features were exquisite to the point of perfection, coupled with that cool temperament. As soon as he appeared, it was as if he was a crane, instantly overshadowing all the women around them. What a beautiful woman. It's not some big star, is it? Tisk, TSK, this face, this body, it's just perfect. Hey, if it isn't Miss Thompson from the dumping group. That's one of the 4 recognized beauties of our Rivertown Grove. At this moment, Many of the guests outside the door began to whisper and marvel at Lil's T's beauty. But because of their status, they're afraid to go up and talk to them. I didn't expect Phoenix House to be so beautiful. Green tiles and white walls, it's so charming. Sofcall, who followed her off the bus, couldn't help but exclaim. As the royal venue of the Williams family, Phoenix House is naturally extraordinary, and if an ordinary person can set foot in it, it would undoubtedly be a carp leaping through the Dragon Gate. Lil's T looked around. Even with her high vision, she had to admit that it was indeed beautiful. Lil's T, you're here? At that moment, a young man in a suit and glasses suddenly leaned over. This man is none other than the Parker family's second youngest, E. Park. So it's Mr. Parker. What, are you interested in the charity gala too? Lil's T said faintly. I'm certainly not interested in a normal charity gala, but it's organized by the Williams family, so who would dare not give face? E. Park smiled. The Williams family, one of the Rivertown Grove triumvirate, a true gentry. It can be a powerful place to be in Rivertown Grove. Let's not talk about organizing a charity gala. Even if you throw out a piece of shit, countless people will grab it. Mr. Parker, I take it you're drunk? Sofcall narrowed her eyes and laughed. Attending the party is naturally a lie. I came here mainly to give you guys a hand. E. Park laughed. Help us. Sofcall was a little puzzled. I've heard that you, the Tilting City Group, have been on the Williams family's pre-screen list, but you're still a little short of being a true partner, so I'm going to add more fuel to the fire, so that you can take the partner qualification in one fell swoop. E. Park swore with conviction. Great. Thank you, Mr. Parker, for making it happen. Sofcall's face was ecstatic. If you can become a partner of the Williams family, not only will the Tilting City Group go to the next level, even her position as the president's secretary will rise as a result. You're welcome. With my relationship with Lil's T, what's this little thing? E. Park smiled a little meaningfully. That's right, we're all family. Sofcall agreed with a smile. However, the conversation between the two, next to Lil's T, was as if he hadn't heard it at all. Because of her sight, she kept staring into the distance. There, right in the middle of it, was a luxury car parked. And beside the limousine stood a familiar figure. That's Ollie. Upon closer inspection, Lil's T finally recognized it. Ever since the truth about the beating had been revealed, she had felt that she owed something to Ollie. Now that we have met, it is only right that the misunderstanding should be explained. At the thought, she immediately walked up. Ollie. Lil's T opened his mouth and was about to say something when he suddenly froze. Because she realized that there was a very beautiful woman standing next to Ollie. The woman was wearing an extremely figure-hugging red cheongsam. Its slender waist, perky hips, and callow fullness were on full display at this moment. Plus the impeccable looks and the elegant and noble aura. The whole thing looked as if a queen had descended. Extremely oppressive.